All right, we can go ahead and get started. Thank you all for joining us this afternoon, evening, or morning, depending on where you're joining the webinar from. My name is Kevin Henry. I'm the marketing strategist for the Viterbi School of Engineering, and I'd like to welcome you today for the Spotlight series on computer science with Professor Medvedovich, who is also the chair of the computer science department. So you guys are in for a real treat today. But before we dive into all things computer science, we're going to spend some time and go over some brief information about the University of Southern California, as well as the Viterbi School of Engineering. And then we will spend the majority of the webinar on the computer science department and get all your questions answered so that you know everything about computer science before the end of this webinar. All right, so let's dive into some housekeeping things before we get started. Quick Zoom facts. If you guys have questions throughout the webinar, feel free to ask them. You don't have to wait till the end. We ask that you ask them in the Q&A panel. So just go to the Q&A section that should be located on the bottom bar. Type in your question, and we will try to get to that as soon as possible. If not, we will wait till the end of the presentation and get to all those questions then. All right. Another question that comes up is if we will be able to receive a copy of this webinar, a copy of the slides, and the answer is yes. So after the webinar is complete, within the next day or two, you guys will all get an email that has a copy of all of these slides, as well as a link to the recording. So if you want to go back and kind of familiarize yourself with anything that we discussed within the webinar, you'll be able to do so at your convenience. And if there's any, things that you want to write more notes on or, go back and refer to as you're applying to the program, you can do so as well. There's a lot of information that we're going to cover today. So don't feel that you have to remember it all. You'll get a copy of this. All right, a quick rundown of today's program. As I mentioned, we're gonna spend some time and talk a little bit about the University of Southern California as well as the Viterbi School of Engineering. And then we will spend the majority of the time looking at the computer science program and our master's programs within the CS department. And we'll go over some frequently asked questions that you'll be able to get a lot of information from, as well as looking at our Denon Viterbi online programs and offerings that we have there and what the nuances there so that you will understand that. And then any questions and answers or questions that you may have for Professor Medvedovich before we end the webinar, you'll be able to ask him directly. As I mentioned, you're in for a treat. He's the chair of our computer science department. So he knows so much about the department, is a wealth of knowledge just about the industry and the discipline. And so you guys will be able to get all your questions answered from him that are directly related to computer science. So before we dive into that, a few quick notes about the University of Southern California. We are located near downtown Los Angeles. We're about 3 miles from the downtown Los Angeles area. We are the oldest private university in the Western United States. We were founded in 1880, so we've been around for a while. We're home to 22 academic schools and divisions, which is also where we are home to 47,000 students throughout these 22 academic schools and divisions, 21,000 undergraduates and 26,000 graduate students. So we're a fairly large institution. We have a very, very robust alumni network that you guys are probably familiar about or heard about, with over 450,000 alumni worldwide that have attended either through undergrad or graduate or even some of our certificate programs. We're home to just under 5,000 full-time faculty throughout these 22 academic schools and divisions, and as well a home to a diverse student population. This is how those numbers break down within the Viterbi School of Engineering. So you can see within the School of Engineering, we have 6,680 plus graduate students, which are housed within 65 different master's programs and 13 doctoral programs, as well as 39 online master's programs via DEN at Viterbi, which we'll talk more about later. Viterbi is home to 38 research centers, as well as 212 full-time tenure track faculty. We were founded in 1905, so we've been around for a while as well. And part of that alumni network, of that, 104,000 plus Viterbi, those alumni are Viterbi alums. So you can see that within that alumni network, we have a very, very extensive Viterbi engineering alumni that is a network that is worldwide. All right. This is how our school breaks down into 8 academic departments. So you can see that all of our students are kind of housed within one of these departments within the School of Engineering. And today we're going to spend time discussing computer science and data science. And so you're going to learn all things that are related to that discipline today. And at this time, I'm going to turn over the presentation to the chair of the department of the Thomas Lord Department of Computer Science, Professor Nino Mevedovich, who is an awesome colleague. As I mentioned, he is the chair of the department, and he runs the ship there within the computer science department. Very awesome faculty member, great to have within your network. He knows so much about the industry and about the school itself, and it's going to be a wealth of knowledge for you guys here on this webinar today. So I'm going to pass it over to you, Professor Mevedovich.
Thank you so much. Do I control the presentation at this point or?
You know what? I can let me
Great.
know
Yeah.
when to push them forward, and I'll make sure
Awesome.
that we do it. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, great. Hi everybody. It's nice to talk to you, although I can't see you. I hope to see you at some point soon. Um, I am here to try to answer some questions about the computer science department and tell you kind of how we're organized, who we are, how many of us there are, what we do, and so forth. So if you just look at some basic numbers, CS is the largest department in Viterbi. We have 1,800 undergraduate students, 3,600 master students, and 400 doctoral students. These numbers, as you might imagine, fluctuate, but this is kind of where we are roughly. We have 93 full-time faculty. We have 50 full-time tenure track faculty, and we have hired since 2022 21 new faculty. So we are, in that sense, a relatively young department. We have a large number of people who are relatively recent graduates from top universities in the US and worldwide. Many of our faculty have gotten all sorts of accolades, and you can read about that on various websites and whatnot. So I'm not going to repeat that. If we go to the next slide, uh, the thing that you see right there in the corner, in the upper right-hand corner, that's our new building. We moved into it. So it was built for over a couple of years. We moved into it in fall of 2024. And in fact, if you can see my image, the image you see behind me is the opposite corner of that building. So what you're seeing there is kind of the front right corner, and I am right now in front of the front left corner of the building. Um, our faculty are, as could be expected from a top university, they're very research active. So there is a range of projects and accolades that they have received for those things. One of the things that I should highlight is that with the proliferation of AI, we have faculty like Cyrus Shahabi, for example, who has worked on applying AI in the context of his primary area, which is databases, but also in collaboration with researchers from USC's medical school. So the field of computer science is becoming incredibly interdisciplinary, and many of our faculty are picking up the baton and doing very interesting things in this context. The work that we've been doing has been recognized nationally and internationally. So, for example, for many years in a row now, we've had the top game design program. We are eighth in the world based on publications. We have an online master's program that has been ranked in the top five for a number of years running, and so on. So we try to keep the standards pretty high, and all of the new people that we hire, and of course the new students that keep kind of renewing and rejuvenating our department, help us to remain in the at the top or toward the top of the various rankings. So we're super excited about the prospect of kind of new blood coming in and making us even better. We can go to the next slide, please. Um, So these are the numbers that you can see at the level of the master student population. We have 1,736 students in computer science. That's kind of the general master's degree. We have some number of students in different specializations. The scientists and engineers specialization which is geared towards students who do not have an undergrad degree in computer science, but want to get a graduate degree in computer science. We have close to 400 students there. The specialization in AI is close to 300 students. We have close to 100 students in game development. And we have a computer science degree with a specialization of data science that has on the order of 70 plus students. There is a separate master's degree, which is an applied data science degree that we also have in the computer science department. That one is slightly larger and it's a complement in some ways. It's related to the CS data science, but it is a different degree. If you can go to the next slide, please. As you might imagine, we have faculty of all sorts. So we're a pretty unique department in the sense that we have faculty in three different ranks. Many departments do not have the rank that's rightmost there, so maybe I should start there. Those are research faculty. Those are people who primarily do research. They are housed in two different institutes that are affiliated with the School of Engineering, with Viterbi, and they're also affiliated with the department in the sense that many of their research staff are research faculty in the department. They can advise PhD students. They occasionally teach classes. The people in the middle are people who do teaching full time. They're not expected to do any research, so they will teach many of the classes that our undergraduate students and sometimes our master's students take. And then the people on the left, those are just some examples of people who are on the tenure track. The tenure track people are, people who are expected to do a balance of research. So any cutting edge research that's coming out of the department with high probabilities coming from that group. And then they also regularly teach the classes that you might take if you join one of the programs at the university. And if we go to the next slide, as I already mentioned, we have grown quite a bit over the last couple of years. We've hired 21 new faculty. Here you see examples of three faculty. So Rini Shoti, but she goes by Rini, is an assistant professor. So she recently got her PhD and got an entry-level tenure track position. Harsha is a professor. He built his career initially up at University of Michigan and then joined USC about a year and a half ago. And Marco Papa is a lecturer, so he's somebody who teaches full time. And then we can go on to the next slide. There, we have three assistant professors who either have been hired straight out of PhD. So Oded was at MIT, for example. Swaba was at Stanford. And then Wei Hang is an assistant professor who came out of Purdue University and spent a few years at the University of Buffalo in the state of New York, and then joined USC. So we have a very international faculty body, just like we have a very international student body. And we try to hire the best people, regardless of kind of where in their career path they are. We try to bring them in and have them enrich our department in the process. If we go to the next slide, this is the current leadership team. I'm the chair. Emilio Ferrara is the associate chair for the PhD programs and research faculty affairs. GJ Halfond is the associate chair for undergraduate programs and teaching faculty affairs. And then this is not Bharat Raghavan. In fact, that's a mistake. That's Stefanos Nikolaidis, who is the associate chair for master's programs. Stefanos is somebody that you would interact with possibly most frequently, in addition to interacting with me if you're in one of our master's programs. Occasionally, you may interact with GJ because some of our teaching faculty would be teaching master's level classes and your paths might cross in that capacity. And then the department itself, we go to the next slide. The department is divided into 4 different research groups. These are the groups, they're very large groups. They're kind of umbrella groups that allow us to properly make sure that we can staff our courses and so forth. So AI, roughly speaking, Bistra Dilkina is in charge of that group. In fact, right now, as of recently, we have Haipang Luo who has taken over. Xiao Wang is dealing with systems, databases, and so forth. David Kempe is theory and computation, and Jerne Barbik is robotics, graphics, vision, etc. So more likely than not, you would not be interacting or interfacing with these people, but they would be very important in that they make the initial decisions about which classes should be taught and who the people are who should be teaching those classes. So whatever is offered a given semester, typically it's passed through them before a student gets to see it. Moving on, basically every year there's a bunch of different students who come out of our department who have come out of the department who have made their name. They've been made well known, sometimes even famous, based on the accomplishments. So, for example, the transformer technology, the AI transformer architectures that have revolutionized language technologies, the initial publication actually came out of Viterbi, and a couple of our students who graduated slightly over 10 years ago. We have faculty, or rather graduating students who we also have faculty actually who we fight very hard to retain, but they get opportunities to participate in cutting edge research in places like OpenAI, for example, or NVIDIA or whatever. But in this case, Barrett was a student who is a tech lead at OpenAI, is just one example. If we keep move on, we have PhD students who work on cutting edge projects. Some of them are very fun. So my area is software engineering. My students get to work on interesting projects that result in technologies that are not as readily visible as what you see here. These are robotics students who are working with underwater robotics, working on projects like locating toxic algae in lakes, for example. We have a robotics team that will regularly drive over to the coast and work on deploying their robots in the ocean and things like that. So a lot of fun stuff happening around. In the new building, speaking of robotics, we also have a drone lab, and the drone lab is cool because it is in the second underground floor, so second underground level of the building. But in the first underground level, there's a portal where you can sit. There's like a bench, and you can sit and watch through this portal the experiments that they're doing in the drone lab. So if we go to the next slide, this is another testimonial from a student who has worked at the intersection of engineering and healthcare. This is actually one of the areas, the kind of cross-pollinating areas that happens to attract a lot of students more and more frequently. I can tell you that my own lab is working with two different groups at the medical school because a lot of the stuff that they do has been enabled and the progress accelerated through the application of AI. So they're looking for help with the computational end of things. And for us, it's interesting to apply some of our research in the concept of medical care and healthcare. Next slide. This is another example of a student who worked on a project that's been actually quite successful and has won some major accolades. He developed a device that stops plastic debris from polluting the oceans. So things that really actually do improve the planet and our everyday lives, at least indirectly. If we keep going, here's another student who were also a master student who provides a testimonial for what they find especially enticing about USC. So we can have him say it in his own words. I am not hearing the audio. Oh, that's a shame. Well, maybe we could provide the link to the, I guess,
How to make an
here we
impact
go.
on the world around us.
Here we
So
go.
one
Yeah,
example
yeah. Let's
is that
maybe
be
rewind it to
it
the
to
beginning.
design your
Okay,
algorithm,
let's go back to the beginning.
Yeah.
build
Thank you so much.
No worries.
electric vehicle.
You know what I'll do? Go back a slide and then come back. There we go. Let's try.
Okay. Nice.
So before coming to Viterbi, I had that classical idea that engineering is a very hard thing that's uncreative, and that couldn't be further from the truth. And without a doubt, I can say that the Viterbi School of Engineering changed my perception in a whole lot of ways. First and foremost, I learned that engineering should always, try to make an impact on the world around us. So one example is that be it to design new algorithms, build electric vehicles or smart buildings, that's all creativity. And I would be able to make like a huge difference by contributing like products that would impact millions of people around the world. And that was like my goal from like the word go. The reason for all of that creativity and the reason we strive to build new things as engineers is because we believe we can change the world. With a vision of making this world a better place for human beings. So I guess our engineers will never get bored of those challenges that we are facing. To impart these skills of social entrepreneurship, of using engineering for society. And I always believe that engineering not just empower our ambitions, but also engineering to make us a stronger person that we never thought we could be. As I graduate, I can proudly say that I'm stepping out as a citizen of the world with a better vision and skill set, ready to take on my journey. Fight on, fight on, fight on, fight on.
Thank you. Thank you, Kevin. By the way, one of the questions that's right now in the chat is whether we can make the slides bigger somehow. I don't know if you have that within your control. And then there's a second question that hopefully will be addressed in the process of analyzing or kind of going through the next handful of slides. So we can hold off on directly answering it and then see if this helps with it. So. What are the master's programs available in CS? We're constantly upgrading those, and there may be some new ones coming up in the future. But right now, we have the general master's program, and then four specializations: AI, game development, data science, and scientists and engineers. A lot of this information is also available on the website, and as pointed out early on, you will also get access to these slides. So if we go to the next slide. So what's the difference between the general CS masters and masters for scientists and engineers? If we go to the next slide, basically the general CS is 32 units. There's one required course, which is analysis of algorithms. And then there are 7 additional courses you can take beyond that, or need to take beyond that. These are all at the 500 level, although it is possible by petition to sign up for a 600 level course. Those are PhD level classes. So if there's something that is offered that especially interests you and it's not at the 500 level, you can petition, and typically those are approved. The only reason why they might not be is if there is a prerequisite course that a student has not taken, but otherwise we try to accommodate. If we go to the next slide, for scientists and engineers, it's actually a little bit different. It's designed for students with an academic background in what we call STEM. So science, technology, engineering, or math, but not necessarily a background in CS. So this program combines an introductory sequence of a handful of undergrad classes that we feel need to be kind of include things that you need to master before you can start taking master's level classes. And the students who are in this program cannot transfer into another CS specialization. So once you're in this program, you take it all the way through. And this can be done on campus or through Distance Education Network, which is the online option available for certain classes and certain degrees within Viterbi. So if you go to the next slide, this one has 5 additional units. So if you remember, the general CS program is 32 units. This one actually has 37 units. The first one that every student in this program has to take is CS 455, which is Introduction to Programming Systems Design. So this is basically a crash course on a lot of things that you would bring in from a CS degree. And I know that it's illusory to think that you can get everything from an undergrad degree in computer science in 4 units, but we try to get as much of this as we can into this class so that it prepares you for the graduate level classes. Other classes you have to take are CS 402, which is operating systems, and EE 450 or EE 457, which is basically computer networks or computer systems organization. And then there are 25 units of graduate coursework from CS. So basically, you would take some number of basically roughly 6 CS classes in addition to what's shown in the top 2 bullets, and that would complete your 37 units in the degree. We go to the next slide. Can you do an MS in computer science online? If we go, basically there are 3 programs that are available online. The general CS with the emphasis in data science, and CS for scientists and engineers. There is one caveat that in a given semester, it's possible that certain classes, for various reasons, cannot be offered online. So I'll give you a simple example. There could be a robotics class that has a lab component, and for that you really have to be on campus. There's no way of teaching that online, but otherwise you are able to complete these 3 degrees via DEN, Distance Education Network. Basically, there are 2 different methods of course delivery. Full-time, 2 classes per semester. It takes about 2 years to complete. You can accelerate that by taking classes over the summer, or in special instances, you could take more than 2 classes. We're trying to accommodate that because occasionally students will ask whether they could just accelerate the process that way. And then there is online delivery via DEN. That could take a little bit longer because many of our students who are taking these classes online, they work full-time, so they might not be able to take the full complement of classes, or B, they're in the scientists and engineers program, so that requires a few extra units. So it might take a little bit longer to take those classes. If we go to the next slide, basically DEN is like being on campus, but you're just watching it online. You can still have direct interactions with the instructor, meaning that you can ask questions in real time. You can submit your homework electronically. You can meet with your TAs online, and you can take exam at specially designated locations around LA. For students who are DEN students who are not in LA County, special provisions are made so you can take exams basically, and complete your coursework in a way that is convenient. Keep going. Let's see. So yeah, this basically gives you a general overview. Pretty much anything that you can do in person, you can also do online if you're considering being a DEN student. Keep in mind that for international students, you do not have the DEN option. You have to actually be on campus in person. Keep going. Application requirements and tuition fees. Basically, the application deadlines are coming up soon, and those are also available on various university websites and so forth. And then, Kevin, I don't know is this something that you can talk to?
Yeah, totally. As Professor mentioned, the deadlines are coming up. So if you're looking to apply for fall of 2026, I would recommend that you should have started the application. If you haven't, you might want to begin as soon as possible. It's not the type of application that you can do within a day or, a weekend. You really want to put some time into this and make sure that you have all the elements of it, and meet those deadlines. One of the things that I think we showed in the last slide, I'll see if I can go back, was the scholarship deadline of December 15th. So that's the first deadline that's coming up. I encourage everyone to just go ahead and submit by that deadline. Um, we'll talk a little bit about more about scholarships in a moment, but there's tons of free money that we give out through the Viterbi School of Engineering that you may qualify for, and this is both for domestic and international students. So you might just want to go ahead and just get that done by December 15th to see if you qualify for any of those funds. Our final deadline is January 15th. This slide talks a little bit about limited status, and this is something that we see many of our DEN students, our online students, will do if they're looking to just try to see if this is going to be a good fit for them. They're able to apply for limited status and take up to 12 units before officially applying to the actual program. So the way this works is if you take a class or you take several classes limited status, you will do the entire class, you'll do the assignments, you'll do all of the exams, you will get a grade. And then you can use those classes that you took limited status to count for your application. So if you're doing well in the program through limited status and you apply to officially be in the program, we will take into consideration how you're doing in the program. This is for students that are working full time and just want to test it out to see if this is going to be a good option for them, that may, have a full work life that, may not be easy to add grad school on right now. And they want to see how it will be to take one or two classes. And many of the times, once a student does this and they do well, they want to go ahead and apply for full admission. And so this is one way to explore it. Another thing too, for the DEN at Viterbi program, many of our students that are doing the online program are able to get some of their cost deferred through reimbursement from their employer. So if they're working at a company where the employer will pay for you to go back and get your master's degree, we will honor that. And there's different ways that we work with students, because each company kind of does it differently. And so you'll want to follow those links and make sure that you're looking at everything and all the fine print at your employer job or your company, as well as here in Viterbi. And we'll work really closely with you to make sure that that all gets situated. Right. So one of the things that I'll also mention is that, you want to make sure that you look at the application criteria. Each program has different nuances that they want from applicants. And this is another reason why you should really start working on that application sooner rather than later. You want to, spend a little bit of time either each week or each night kind of working on it and making sure that you have all the elements of it before you submit. Another rule of thumb that I always tell students as well, if you work up to the deadline, let's say the December 15th deadline is coming up, you're going to get it in on December 15th. 9 times out of 10, there's a million things that can happen on December 15th. Let's say the internet goes out, or let's say, there's everybody's trying to submit, and so the website goes down, or that you just never know what could happen. So you always want to give yourself some time for the unforeseen things to happen. So make sure you get that in a few days before the actual deadline so that you have some wiggle room there. Another question about, do you offer scholarships or funding? And so we mentioned that before, that scholarship deadline of December 15th. We offer a ton of merit-based scholarships, both for our DEN at Viterbi online students as well as our on-campus students. And so you really just want to get that application in and see if you apply, you will be awarded any of these funds. They can be anywhere from 1 to 4 units. They're partial tuition scholarships that are directly added to your fee bill. And these are typically merit-based scholarships that we apply to various students that have applied. So get it in by December 15th and get some of those costs waived. All right. Here's some helpful links as you guys are navigating this process that will be helpful for you to just kind of see what the campus is like. You can take some virtual tours, how to start your application. If you have questions about what it's like taking a DEN at Viterbi online class, go and visit some of those links and kind of see what those offerings look like. I think, just to reiterate, the Deneb Viterbi program is the same program that you would get on campus, same degree, your same professors, same assignments, same everything. It does take students a little bit longer because they are working full time, but same program. All right. So now we'll open it up for any questions that you have. Let's see. I think there were a few questions that were submitted. Let's see. Okay, so we got to that one. Can applicants apply to more than one CS Masters? Okay, so this is a question. Can applicants apply to more than one CS Masters program at the same time, or must we select only one? You can apply to more than one program. Okay, so if there's two programs that you want to apply to, CS programs, you can apply to more than one. At the same time, I would urge students to make it make sense. So, if there's two programs that you're really, really interested in, definitely go ahead and do that, but do it because you're genuinely interested in both of those programs and not because you're just trying to cast a wide net to see where you get admitted into. So you really want to be able to speak to why you're applying to each of these programs in the personal statement, why, both programs appeal to you. But if there's one program that you want, I would just encourage you to just do that program instead of casting a wide net. All right, let's see. How is USC's computer science department different from others? As in, why do students choose to come here over others? Professor Medvedovich, do you want to answer that one?
Yeah, I think I can take that one. So we're in a large city, right? So just by looking even at what's available within the city of LA, we understand that students have options, right? So you can go to a place like UCLA, you can go to a place like UC Irvine, which is where I went to grad school. You can try to go to UC Riverside, drive a little bit further north, and go to Santa Barbara, etc. All those are, fine schools, and in a way, you can't go wrong by picking any of them. I do feel that USC is unique. We have had a program that has been running at the scale that other schools have not been able to match for at least a couple of decades. I should have mentioned that I've been here for 27 years at this point, so I've seen the department grow quite a bit, and both my kids have gone to school here, and my son, in fact, got his bachelor's in computer science and his master's in data science. So he's been in the department. I never had the privilege of teaching one of his classes, and I think that was really by design. It is a program that gives you a huge number of options and opportunities. You can take a wide variety of classes because we're such a large department. We're definitely the largest department at USC. We're one of the largest departments in the country, and for example, we're much larger than UCLA CS department. And as you might imagine, having more faculty means the ability to offer more classes that are on the cutting edge. We have faculty who regularly teach classes who are winners of major awards. So we're not going to bring you to USC and have you take classes from people you've never heard of. You will take classes from people who are world-class experts in a given area. We significantly try to explore the ability of students to participate in a research project or to grow the ideas that have come out of their classes either to publication in a major type of publication venue, a conference or a journal, but also patenting ideas, which happens relatively regularly, and possible startups. If our students have an interest in pursuing education further, many of our master students, I can tell you that one of our master students actually um, recently went on to complete her PhD at Carnegie Mellon University, and then she has been she did a postdoc at Microsoft Research, if I remember correctly, and just within the last couple of months, she began her career as a professor at the University of California at Irvine. So it's stories like this that you hear all the time, and I do feel that in addition to giving our students the attention and the opportunity to succeed, we get paid back by our students themselves, really making it big time and making us look very good. USC ultimately, just like any university, is only as good as our students are. I can also tell you that a large number of our graduates are on the computer science department's advisory board, and not all of them are PhD graduates. I would say that it breaks down about half and half. But half of them are master's graduates, and they're people who are in high positions at major companies. So we had a VP from Meta who recently left and became a VP of another large company that's on our advisory board. And I go to her for advice all the time because, as you've probably heard and read, um, the employment world out there is changing. People are looking for different sets of skills, and we're trying to understand how we can adjust our offerings to the needs of employers, and also how to best prepare our students to succeed in the marketplace. These things have changed over the last few years, and already this year we had two separate strategic retreats where we have been discussing what new course offerings and degree offerings we need to provide for our students, so that we want to make sure that you are in the best possible position of succeeding. So in the next year, we will have an upgraded specialization in AI. We will hopefully be offering a master's degree in human computer interaction. We're looking to start a master's in cybersecurity. We're looking to start so not a master's in CS with a cybersecurity focus, but a master's in cybersecurity, and another master's in applied AI. So we're constantly on the lookout for things that will make you more easily employed, that will give you a leg up, hopefully, on the competition. We're really taking this very seriously. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, definitely does. And it looks like the last question was clarified too. So I'll add to that. Instead of just applying to two separate programs, you were asking, can you apply both to CS regular or CS for scientists and engineers? And this is a really good question. I'm glad you clarified that. Based off of your background, you have a master's degree currently in cybersecurity. I would encourage you to just apply for the CS regular program. What happens too, as well, we have really good admission advisors and reviewers. So let's say you are a student that doesn't come from a CS background and you just so happen to apply for the CS regular program. They're going to review that and see that in there. More often than not, they will offer you CS for scientists and engineers if you fit more into that program better than you would the regular CS program. But considering your background, it looks like you could just go straight for the regular CS program, right? There is another question about how does Viterbi help with internships and job search? This is a great question as well. And it also actually lends itself to the question before about why USC is such an awesome place to do your master's degree. One of the things that we have within the Viterbi School of Engineering is an office called Viterbi Career Connections, which is its own office, fully staffed, physical location where students are able to go and they're able to get assistance with their resume. They're able to meet with actual career advisors to talk them through their job search. There's a lot of different workshops that office puts on, like navigating your job search, how to negotiate salary, how to do well in a technical interview, how to do well in a behavioral interview. We also partner with a variety, like almost every company you could possibly think of has a relationship with the Viterbi School of Engineering through the Viterbi Career Connections office. And so they attend our career fairs, they come and they do lunch and learn series, they'll do fireside chats, they'll do networking events. And so it really gives our students an opportunity to network with hiring managers at the companies that they are looking to go and work for, either through an internship or a full-time employment offer after graduating. It also is an office where many of these companies will come and interview our students for internships and full-time employment offers. So most of our students are able to get their jobs right on campus, right in the Viterbi School, and the second floor of RTH. They're able to go and they're, having a full-time interview right there. So that is one of the ways in which we help our students kind of navigate that process. We don't guarantee job placement, but if you are looking for a specific type of job, a specific company, we will help you navigate that. All right. And give you some advice and some best practices on how to get there, as well as some opportunities to network and engage with companies that are looking for students like yourself. All right. There's another question. Will the updated AI program start the next year, 2026, in the spring or fall?
Yes, so we're looking to push the all of the changes that we as a department discussed and decided on through the university curriculum channels so that everything will be ready for fall 2026. And by the way, our curriculum gets updated regularly. These are just bigger changes in terms of kind of updates to individual classes and things like that. That happens pretty much every semester. So we try to stay current. We try to make sure that the kinds of things that we're teaching are the things that our students should be learning.
All right, we have another question about funding, scholarship, applying by that scholarship deadline. Is it only for on-campus students or is it for in-person on-campus students or for Diné Viterbi online students? It is for both. There are large designated sums of money that are available for both on-campus in-person students as well as students getting their master's through the Diné Viterbi online program. So another reason to go ahead and get that application in by December 15th, regardless of your modality. Really, and that's one of the ways you should think about this is that Diné Viterbi Online is really just a modality option. It is the same program, same professors, same assignments, same coursework, same class, same everything. So same amount of money that is also available as far as scholarship goes. So definitely get that in by the 15th. All right. Are there any last minute questions before we wrap up? All right. Well, I want to thank you guys all for joining us this afternoon, evening, or morning, again, depending on where you're calling from. This last slide is some information, some helpful email addresses, as well as phone numbers. Definitely reach out if you have questions. Especially at this point in time, we know that this is kind of an anxious point in time for many of you that are looking to apply by the December 15th deadline. And so we are in this. We are answering these questions as they come in and getting things clarified for you as we know you guys are all working on your applications at this point in time. As I mentioned before, you're going to get a copy of these slides as well as a link to the recording of this webinar. So as you're working on your application, or if you're just in the process of trying to figure out if Viterbi and USC is going to be the place where you want to do your master's degree, you'll be able to refer back to this information and take a deeper dive with many of the resources and links that we've provided today. And so, Professor Medvedovich, I thank you so much for just lending your time and your expertise, and really, giving a deeper dive into the computer science department and what we offer here and why USC Viterbi is such an amazing place for us to be, and for students to study. And so, I don't know if you
Thank
have
you
any
so much.
final thoughts that you want to leave us with.
I just, want to make sure that everybody understands that we do want to see you at USC. We are, as I already said, we're only as good as our students. We are an incredibly vibrant international place, and certainly, I feel like, as I already mentioned, I've been here for 27 years. It's our students that keep me still relatively young. So I wouldn't change this job for any other one.
Awesome. All right. Well, I thank you, and I thank you all for joining us today. And be on the lookout for the slides and the link to this presentation. There was one last question about fee waivers. We do not give out fee waivers to everyone, but if you are looking for a fee waiver, there are ways in which you can possibly apply for one. What you will want to do is reach out to this on-campus Viterbi grad admission email address, and they will send you more information on how to potentially get a fee waiver. So once again, thank you all for joining us today, and good luck on that application and let us know if we can be of any service to you as you guys are filling that out. And we look forward to seeing your applications either in the next couple of weeks or in the near future. Everyone, take care.
Thank you.
Awesome. Bye-bye.